Today on The Social, Jimmy Kimmel was pulled off the air over comments he made about Charlie Kirk. When it comes to silencing the media, what is our responsibility as consumers? And a Love is Blind contestant files a class action lawsuit for alleged labor violations on set. Is it time for a reality star reckoning? Then we're setting the table Prairie style. Find out how to host a harvest dinner that makes the most of the season's bounty. Plus, dementia affects nearly 800,000 Canadians, and as our population ages, this number will likely grow. A look at what can be done to improve care. It all starts now on The Social.
Everybody, I think I see a birthday girl in the audience.
Yes.
Birthday queen.
Oh, snap.
Birthday queen. Happy birthday, queen.
Yes.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. You know her and you love her. We love to have her here on the show. Singer, songwriter, Julie Black is here. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. The last time you were here, you revealed you had, of course, your beautiful wedding photos. How's married life treating you?
You know what, married life, thank God for a soft place to land. The world is heavy right now.
Yes, it is.
You know, so I'm grateful.
It really is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's kind of where we're going to be starting with the show today. The world is heavy. Jimmy Kimmel is the latest late night host to be yanked off the air. So his network, ABC, has preempted Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely after comments they say he made about the killing of Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump has weighed in since this decision by ABC. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done, is what the President of the United States is saying. Of course, this is alarming news for those that worry. Free speech is under attack in America. So we are, yes, we do this for a living. We talk for a living, but we're also consumers of news and media. We are creators of media, as I mentioned. So what is our responsibility in all this?
Listen, do you remember when the pandemic was the thing that we were worried about? Doesn't that feel like 1,000 years ago? Honestly, in the 20-something years that I've been working in television, I never thought that I would be this mad about a rich white man losing his job as I am today. I was so mad when I heard the news. My first thing was I screamed. I was like, oh! Because I kind of knew this was coming because Donald Trump has made comments before. Then I felt this despair and anxiety that I think we're all feeling right now. I think it's fair to say a lot of people are feeling this, and this uncertainty as to what the future holds. And then I calmed down, went to bed. I woke up this morning with a renewed kind of sense of like, okay, so what can I do? And the idea came to me so quickly. It was like, okay, I'm an individual, I'm in Canada, but you know what I do? I do support these companies. I do have Disney Plus subscription. First thing I did, delete, cancel my subscription, deleted it.
Wow.
Next thing I went to was my Paramount Plus subscription, cancel subscription, delete. I'm like, I am not going to financially support. I can't control, I can't get Jimmy back on the air. But what I can do is not give them my hard-earned dollar for this state-run television that is happening before our very eyes. So that was the first thing that I did. I'm curious, what was your reaction?
Well, you know, listen, I mean, this is, right now, it's only like a temporary thing, maybe. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I was shocked. I went, oh, when I saw it.
Yeah.
And I guess earlier on this week, we had another conversation around Charlie Kirk, and I was very, I didn't say it in real time, and I wish I had, that I was very careful about choosing my words, because even though this hasn't hit Canada in the same way, I'm worried. It has impacted what we do here. So, we were watching The View today. also. Can we talk about that?
This is where we're going to get really meta, okay? This is girl talk, and
Yeah.
guess what? We're all going to talk together right now.
Yeah.
ABC is the network that yanked Jimmy Kimmel off the air, and so we watch The View because it's aired on ABC in the United States. We know it actually airs on CTV here in Canada, and we thought, well, what are the
they
ladies
gonna say?
of The View
Right.
going to say?
Yeah.
Are they going to even touch it? It's their network, and guess what happened? They never touched it. And I'll tell you the reason why that surprised me. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I am surprised. They have never shied away from difficult topics, much like us here on the show. And it just reminded me, that money talks, but money also silences.
That's right.
And there's a business thing going on here that is infringing on free speech, in my opinion. So ABC is the network, and in the United States, they have what they call affiliate networks. Those are the individual TV stations in your city, in your town, that are airing the ABC shows. There is a company called Nexstar. They own a ton of affiliates.
Yeah.
They are trying to buy a competitor called Tegna. And Tegna, that deal is worth $6.2 billion, okay? And so guess what? In order for that deal to go through, Nexstar needs the sign-off of the Federal Communications Commission and the Department of Justice that are run by Trump appointees. One of those Trump appointees, the chair of the FCC, said yesterday to ABC directly. He was on a podcast and he says, ABC, you need to deal with people like Kimmel, and you can do this the easy way or you can do it the hard way. He said that on a podcast.
Public threat.
It was a public threat against free speech. You don't like what Jimmy Kimmel says. Trump doesn't
Or
like
even if he
what
said
Jimmy
something
Kimmel
wrong.
says. It doesn't matter. In America, you can say whatever you want, and it's protected by the First Amendment.
Yep.
So the business part of me says, money talks,
Yeah.
but money has just silenced yet another network.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's muzzle the media time, basically. And it's unfortunate, as you speak about the ladies of The View, women already struggle to have a voice. And now we watched women be muzzled. We're watching a white man, like you mentioned, right? Basically be made an example. If you can make an example of a white man, nobody's safe. Period.
You know what I keep wondering about, though? What is the end game? Okay, we already know that traditional media is declining in ratings, and that's the sad state of affairs. We love traditional media. We are part of traditional media, and both Canada and America are governed by bodies who do censor us to a certain extent. Like, it's kind of almost a cultural agreement we've all gone
give us
into.
guardrails.
They give us some guardrails. There are certain, like, we
because
don't swear.
I said, I want to lay pipe, and it was okay.
Yeah, you got away with that.
So, got
That's
away
right.
with that.
There are certain things we can get away with.
Just to lighten it up a little bit.
Guardrails. Right?
Just lighten the vibe a little,
That's
you know?
right. We've all agreed upon that.
Yeah.
You know where there are basically
We all agreed upon that.
We've all agreed upon. Well, we have. We've
Oh,
agreed that
thank
there
God
are
for the
certain
pipe.
daytime things you can say, and there are certain things you can say more easily in later night talks. But you know where there's no guardrails? It's on the internet. Basically, you can say whatever you want. So if eventually what this plan is get rid of every left-leaning speaker who offends Trump, what are you going to replace him with? Kid Rock and Scott Baio? Like, who's going to be on network television? Or are all these people just going to go to the internet and everybody's going to be fragmented and everyone's going to be able to say and do whatever they want? I just don't know. At what point is it going to just be
First of all,
state-run
it's
media, more
carousel,
like
though.
North Korea?
Right now, it feels like it's just gonna be Steve Harvey Family Feud all the time,
Stop it
every
right
day,
now.
24/7. That's what it feels like it's gonna happen. And I thought about that too, because a lot of the people that work in the industry had that conversation. Like, they're just gonna start a podcast naturally and get a YouTube channel. But then if you watch, there are people who already have a huge following on TikTok and YouTube who are saying, hey, I just posted something and it's not getting the same traction as it usually does. Or my followers are saying they can't find my stories, or they can't find me, or all of a sudden they're trying to get me off the internet. So I don't know if the internet's this safe place that everybody can go and say whatever they want.
No, you're absolutely right. I call it the Last Supper. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, all the big heads of the big tech companies were invited to the White House for a big dinner, and then we saw it on the news where one at a time they basically were like, "Thank you, Trump. Thank
Bending
you,
the
President
knee.
Trump." And you know,
Bowing down.
these are the men. They were all men who control 6 to 8 of the tech and social media companies that we all use. So at what point does he also exert control on the last space, which is, it seems to be the Wild West, or is he going to hit a button? I just want to leave you with this. There is common ground. I know it feels dark and it feels scary today, but there is common ground, and that is for all of us who not only speak for a living, but want to protect freedom of speech. The fact that I'm going to show you these two clips is going to tell you everything you need to know. Both people and on the left are screaming today saying, protect freedom of speech. Let's take a break, everybody. Netflix and Love is Blind producers are being accused of subjecting contestants to sleep deprivation, isolation, lack of food, and an excess of alcohol. And isn't that the kind of
Sounds like they're
thing that they actually signed up for? So we're going to talk about this. Is reality TV having a reckoning? We'll discuss right after this.
Tomorrow on The Social, fall beauty is here and bolder than ever. Your cheat sheet to all the latest trends, no pumpkin spice required. Next week on The Social, we're treading lightly into cooler weather, and we're doing it in style. The best of the season's shoe trends from Erica Wark.
Listen, we do love free speech here. We do. It's what we do for a living. We encourage the debate back and forth. So get us on social media and be a part of this conversation.
So sleep deprivation, isolation, lack of food, and an excess of alcohol are some of the things Love is Blind contestants are subjected to, at least according to a lawsuit filed by season 7 contestant Stephen Richardson against Netflix and the show producers. So it's only the latest in a growing number of lawsuits that are actually facing that reality series. So Julie, do we think we're hitting a turning point when it comes to reality TV conditions? Or should these people kind of know what they're getting into?
I'm trying to fix my face. We're on TV. They know what they signed up for. Please. They're signed up to be able to host them parties, get a spinoff.
Thank you.
Get drunk enough so that they could feel proud of what they're doing. Okay? You know what? We're in the day now where like the whole excessive way of doing things is having people feel like that's what's gonna get them get them in, right? Yeah. And I mean, it's reality TV.
You did Amazing Race Canada.
I did Amazing Race Canada. Shout out, yes, clap for me. And there's some things that I didn't know was gonna be happening. I mean, it was during COVID, so it was, so it was kind of white glove vibes. But there was 23 hours in the room, 1 hour out, like some jail vibes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that as, they subjected us to, it wasn't poor treatment, but hey, you have to be secluded, you can't see the other racers, things that you don't know until you get there.
So it was intense, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I changed the name to Amazing Grace. Okay, how sweet the sound.
Oh my God. And they didn't give you a heads up about any of that prior to doing the show?
No.
They didn't tell you anything. Because here's the deal. I agree with you, but then I also have a different spin on things. First of all, you're hearing from the problem. Anybody who watches Love is Blind and that season with that guy who's with the lawsuit.
Oh, hold on. That's the guy that's complaining?
Yes, Stephen Richardson.
Oh, get out of here.
Was problematic. Not only did he go on that show and give a whole bunch of lies and then cheat on the woman that he proposed to, we also got a lot of backlash from the fans, which is part of being on these reality shows when you realize someone's not a good person. So just need to put that out there that he's not some little angel who's like, it wasn't fair.
Oh, please.
You were not a good person. But I want to remind people as to why reality shows even exist today. This was an alternative to very expensive episodic shows where people were getting like $2 million an episode. And then the networks are like, wait a second, we can get the same amount of eyeballs, but we just have to put in a reality TV show. These people are willing to do it for next to nothing. All right, bye episodic shows, bye all the union workers. Hello, people, we have casting. Who wants to be on the show? Who wants to be the next superstar? And everybody signed up. And I've been a host on these shows. I've also been part of the casting. And here's the deal. They don't, most times, they're not coming to you. The contestants are coming to us.
Thank you.
They are begging. They are trying out for every single show. Half the people you know tried out for a bunch of different shows because they want to be famous. Because why? We've seen some regular people go on these shows and then they parlay that. They're a New York Times best-selling author. They have a spin-off show. They're TV hosts and taking legitimate jobs.
They're Cardi B.
Right? Everybody's manipulating it. But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you the last thing. In the contract and in the process of you auditioning, because you don't just get on the show. They tell you what what the show is about, and they give you a rundown of the expectations. Are you okay with this? This is what they expected. You're not gonna be able to do this. If you do something that's negative against anybody on the show, including the crew, you'll be kicked off the show. They're very explicit with you about what you can and cannot do. And this idea that his complaint, one of the big complaints was the money wasn't enough. I'm sorry, dear. You are a lab rat in this experiment, and the main focus of all reality shows. The main focus is to put on a great show.
He's lucky he got money.
Remember that.
Okay. Listen, I agree, though. Most of these people are probably doing it just to try to get famous. I think we all can understand, at least at this stage, because some reality stars have gone on to do really, really big things. But I just have to go back to something really, really basic. No matter what job you go for, whether it's reality show or at a coffee shop, I think workers' rights is something we can probably all agree on. So what I will say is this. This is law. And so when you talk about pay, I looked at the lawsuit, they're being paid about $7 an hour for a 20, and that's a 20-hour day.
But America,
so that's below minimum wage. I know it's America.
Canada?
It's below that, but they all have to, a lot of these people who do have jobs, they actually take time off of their jobs, which is their choice.
That's their choice. And they know
their
about the $7.
choice, absolutely. Okay. But I don't know that they knew that they were going in necessarily to 20 days. And so some things in the lawsuit, I'm like, oh, okay, I think you're being a little precious. But other things in this lawsuit are really disturbing.
Yeah.
One of the allegations is forcing relationships. So one of the contestants in this lawsuit said, I told the producers as I was developing a relationship with this person I met on the show, I discovered that they were emotionally abusive and became physically abusive. They notified the producers of the show. The producers said, we urge you to stay with him for the show. That is not okay.
That's bad. That's really bad.
That is
Okay,
not
wait. We also have to remember, we are not hearing from the other side. Did the producer actually say that?
Okay,
Let's just
then there is withholding support.
Allegedly.
Allegations of not adequate mental health supports. There are actually reality shows like Love Island.
Yes.
They actually now do provide psychologists on set. This Love
As a
is Blind,
reactionary measure.
As a reactionary measure because people's mental health was getting suffered. On this one, Love is Blind, there was a woman who told the producers ahead of time, I do have suicidal ideation, I do have some mental health challenges. They cast her anyway. They were doing the interviews, you know how they do all the interviews on the show?
Yeah.
She started telling them, I'm having a panic attack, I'm not going into a good place, I might go into crisis, I need help. The producers kept her on camera and denied her a psychologist. That stuff to me is beyond just, okay, you didn't give me a bottle of water when I asked.
Let's remember, we're only hearing one side. We're not hearing the other.
That's the lawsuit.
Because
that's the lawsuit.
And I hear you, but as a person who's worked in the production with some of these people who do come with a lot of attitude, like they think, oh, this is, I'm gonna be a star. How come I don't have this? And it's like, wait, this is not about you. This is about the show. Right. So I say, I'm not saying that didn't happen, but remember, we're not hearing the other side of that story, which is the producer who might have said something different.
And I have to just say, a lot of times these shows are hiring underqualified producers. No, seriously, we've been in the business, we OGs in the business. And now there's this whole kind of hire your friend, this, that. They don't really know, they're not emotionally mature. They don't have that. You know what I mean? That experience. You know what I mean? When I went on The Amazing Race, I was like, hey, all of these therapists, there's no black therapists. Now that's changed. I said, oh, there's a whole bunch of black men on this show. We're going to be out there in the boonies. What about driving while black? Are you prepared for that? They brought that into their meetings.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So speak up and let's see what happens. Are changes happening?
Yeah, they are.
And
they are.
You know,
But are you suing because the things didn't go your way?
Right.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay, everybody, when we get back, if you hate one of your exes, should your friends and family hate them too?
Yes.
Today's show is killing us.
I'm saying.
Today's show is killing us, okay? Well, let's debate
You better
after
not
the
like
break.
'em.
All right, everybody, Family Feud host Steve Harvey revealed on the Pivot podcast that he is not friends with his daughter Lori's exes. He says the rule in their house is if he's your ex, he is now my ex. I must hate him. That's what Steve says. Are we into this?
Okay, so the hate vibe, this is the thing.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the thing. Like, if we have children together, right? If there's something that you have to stay in touch, then you have to stay in touch until the kids can pay their own bills. Short of that, no, there's no hell no.
No?
There's no reason for an ex
Okay.
to be calling up
And be
my family.
But in this scenario, I think Steve Harvey was saying that he ran into one of his daughter's exes at some kind of an event, and he shook this guy's hand. Okay.
Okay.
And his daughter caught wind of this, and she was
the
like,
photo was taken and
the
it was
photo was
posted
taken. She was like, no.
Don't even shake his hand.
Don't even shake his hand. Don't even be that. So he's now like, I guess I got to be like, not even acknowledge that I know this person used to date my daughter, and that to me seems weird. Like, it's one thing if it was a really bad, messy breakup, but still,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I don't know. Relationships usually end. There's usually two sides, not always, but there usually is. And then you add in this idea of hate. Like, I must
want
hate. Does the word like
Give
do we
them too
need
much power.
Do we
That's way
need
too
more
much power.
hate?
No,
I
we
know
don't
if
need
do.
more hate, but I do need you to stay the hell away from my family.
Sure.
Like,
No, but they're in the industry though.
Yeah,
So they're
but-
gonna cross paths. Steve Harvey, I don't think it's a great case
because
study.
they're in the same
Yeah.
industry, but I just feel like you're right. It depends on why they broke up. Because if the breakup is amicable and we're still cool with each other, then when my parents or my family runs into you, sure, they can say hi. But if you cheated on me, like I had this boyfriend, I know he's watching. He cheated on me, and then I didn't tell my family because I just wasn't ready to express it. And I came home, I was living with my parents, and there he was sitting in the living room with my parents, laughing
The
and having a good time.
audacity.
And I was like,
So what was his angle? Was he trying to get back together again?
I
Like,
don't
was he
know what
trying
it
to
was,
do?
but I was like, I saw him and I gave him the look like outside.
Right.
And then I told him, I'm like, you get out of here because I'm going to tell my parents exactly what you did. And then I told my parents. And from that moment on, I only bring home people who are husband material. So they haven't seen anybody since.
Has this happened in your circle, in your family?
Oh
in your
yeah,
life?
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, now that I'm married, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to go back there. But yeah, there was an ex that a guy that I was with, you know what I'm saying? But his sister was super close to me. Like, we got close, super duper close. And then she was upset because he cheated on me, like next level cheated. Anyway, so she's telling me the tea though. She's giving me the tea on how trash she's doing in his life. She's actually feeling good, but I was like, yo, that's actually keeping me in that space. Like, am I celebrating that he's actually like flat on his face? So I was like, no, you know what? I had to be the one to not be friends with his sister. So it's the other way around too. It's not even like just, okay, yeah, you're contacting my family.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
You had
their
to cut off.
family,
Yeah.
you gotta put up some strong boundaries.
I agree.
Especially when you're the prize. Oh no, no more access, people. No more access.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Access,
Look
protect.
at all this. Look at me. What should I look? Give me the camera. Missed your chance, so why you chasing this? Whoa.
Okay, let's pause, digest that moment of amazingness.
Saying.
Julie, we love having you here, and every single year,
I love being here.
every single year we love to work with the Cashmere Collection, and they're doing wonderful things. And this year, you are the spokesperson for the Cashmere Collection, which was unveiled earlier this week. And you treated the crowd to a surprise performance.
I did.
And the event, it raises money for breast cancer research, in case anybody isn't familiar. First of all, it's such a perfect partnership. What an amazing thing, because I know that you, this whole, sadly, this whole disease, it does hold a special place in your heart. It has affected you.
This is where I feel so emotional. It's so personal. It's for so many reasons. Like, at 27, I found my own lump, and they wouldn't give me a mammogram. Like, you're too young, you're too young, you're too young. And I often say Dr. Shirley Ostroff. Dr. Shirley Ostroff, I know you retired, but she advocated for me and pushed for me to get a biopsy and, you know, do what I had to do, right? And then my dad, he ended up getting breast cancer 10 years ago. He's in remission now, thank the Lord, 10 years later. But I'll say this, yes. He just knew. This old Jamaican man was like, no, something's wrong. It don't feel right. He checked himself, etc. On the Friday, he went into a walk-in because his doctor was like, no, it's just a cyst. And he went into a walk-in. And Dr. Humphrey, I'll always remember her name. He had a mammogram, he had a mastectomy the Monday. The Monday he was in surgery, and they took out 5 lymph nodes, right? And we lost my friend Jody Ann, 33 years old. Same type of thing. Wouldn't give her a mammogram. You know, oh, well, you just had twins, so it's probably because your estrogen's high. Like all of these things, and so it's like, it's just super duper personal, and so this isn't a gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jules.
You know.
Well, you're here and you're spreading the message and you're doing the work. That's why you're here, right? That's
so
why you're
please
here.
go vote. Get on with the Cashmere Collection. Every vote, they match they'll donate $1 for every vote, up to $100,000. And when you go buy your toilet tissue, look for the pink ribbon. Okay, specifically, be intentional. Okay, don't get the plain bag. Get the pink ribbon, Cashmere, and let's continue to move the dial.
Yeah.
We need this.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, everybody.
What a show,
I
know,
What a show. Yes,
today.
it is. Okay, so we want you to know, the viewers, that until the end of this month, you can vote for your favorite garment, as you just heard Julie say. Where do you do it? CashmereCollection.ca, CashmereCollection.ca. So every vote and every package of specially marked pink ribbon cashmere and Purex product purchase, Cashmere will actually donate $1 to breast cancer research, so you can have a direct impact as well. Let's take a break, everybody. And then we are all invited to a harvest dinner. Food writer Dan Clapson is here with Prairie recipes. Let's eat after this.
Let's eat our feelings. Welcome back. Our next guest is a food writer inspired by the rich culinary scene of the Canadian Prairies, a region he knows well, hailing from Saskatchewan.
And today he plays homage to the meals that prairie farmers share amongst themselves, a meal he calls a harvest dinner. So please welcome back to the show, Dan Clapson.
Hey, good
Thanks
to
for
see you,
having me.
Dan.
Nice to
Yeah,
see
we
you
love
too.
having you. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is a harvest dinner?
So I think if people have heard of that term before, they're probably thinking of sort of like glitzy chef dinners in a field and as wine pairings. And while that is very much a thing, a true harvest dinner is for the hardworking farmers that are working 14, 16 hours a day, but still want to join together and have a meal. So you bring like a fold-out table in the middle of a field, you eat for like an hour, you get back to work, and that's it. So this is all inspired by that.
That's lovely. Okay, and for those of us who aren't farmers, why is eating like this something that you recommend?
I mean, fundamentally, eating in season is highly likely to be better for you, to be healthier. You know, of course you can dump cream and butter into things, but I think if you eat in season, you're using what's around you.
Love it. Okay, so let's dive right in. The main protein-heavy dish you've selected today is a bison shepherd's pie. Why bison?
Bison's so good.
Yes, bison is delicious. It's also a protein that's indigenous to the prairie region of Canada. And there's a lot of farms in all the provinces, so you can find this in most grocery stores across the prairies. You can find it in other parts of Canada, but it's very, very common in the prairies.
You would never know the difference between
I've had bison before and I absolutely love it, but for people who haven't had it, how's it compared to other meats?
I would say it would most closely compare to a grass-fed beef, if I'm going to a blanket statement. But yeah, it's very, very lean. And in this application, though, you're right, it would taste a lot similar to beef for sure.
So good. Okay, so it is so good. Walk us through what you use to make it.
So again, sticking with things that are in season, I use some squash in there, some carrots, caramelized onions, and then I put a little bit of apple in there too.
Oh, the apple.
Okay.
That is such a nice touch.
All right, so this is my first time having apples in a shepherd's pie, one of my favorite meals. I love you, so I'm gonna be gentle. Is it customary to add fruit to a meal like this?
I would say no, but I mean, I don't want to call it like a chefy addition, but you know, just a slight elevation of shepherd's pie. I thought the apple would be a nice balance to the bison, sweetness, and people don't realize how many apples grow in the prairie, so I actually brought some apples from my backyard from Calgary. But they're big. Like, these are big apples.
Those are so
yeah, they're like
sweet.
they're proper real apples, not just crab apples out there.
Okay, so speaking of fruits, let's head into the dessert because you made an autumn fruit crumble. What
Yes.
did you use for this?
So this particular crumble has some wild blueberries and some pears. Again, pears are also quite common in the prairies. So a simple application. I think a crumble is not something that needs to, to be highly remixed. So very, very simple.
I'm sorry, it's so good. Keep talking.
No, it's good. A little bit of honey in there. What I like to add into it is things like allspice, cloves, and cinnamon. I'm a huge fan of allspice in baked goods of all types, and I feel like it really comes out in this.
Okay, and what other ingredients did you use in this crumble? Because it's incredible.
Really, just in the crumble on top, it's pretty simple, pretty classic. Like we have some butter, we have some oats. Oats is a very common crop, of course, in the prairies. Brown sugar. Yeah, I really just kept the topping simple, but the spices in the mix is really what makes it special.
I heard that there's a personal dish connected to this story.
Yes.
Tell
So
us.
my friend Laura Orsak and her family, they farm in rural Manitoba, more or less outside of Russell, Manitoba. And when I was coming up with ideas for this harvest dinner segment, I asked her, I said, what does your family eat for a sweet treat? Because I know people serve things like shepherd's pie and casseroles and whatnot, and she talked about how they always make a crumble, kind of grabbing what's in their garden behind their farmhouse. So I thought it was a really beautiful touch to this whole spread.
That's lovely. Yeah. That's such a great idea. Okay, so next we're going into the drink because I imagine after a full day out in the fields, which is what we do here in the city, that we'd like a drink brought to us. So what did you bring for us today?
Absolutely. So this is a rhubarb lemonade. And I love using rhubarb. Of course, there's some lemon in there as well, but rhubarb has that sort of tanginess that you would find from a lemon. So to make this,
I know everything is so good. Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry, we're listening.
Okay, I'm less nervous now because you like everything. That's great. But rhubarb is, ever present. It's like I took this rhubarb for this drink from my friend's backyard here in Toronto. There's rhubarb everywhere.
Yes.
Wow.
So you can find it in alleys even.
Well, it is a hardy
Yes, it
plant,
is.
and it like proliferates.
Yeah.
But let's say you don't have it. Can you use like a frozen or a
Oh, for
canned?
sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Frozen is widely available across Canada, and mostly at most grocery stores you'd find fresh as well. I would think at this time of year too.
All right,
Yeah.
this is so delicious. So walk us through how you made this.
Okay, so to make the rhubarb concentrate, basically what I did was finely chop up some rhubarb. I put it in a pot with some water and some sugar. So essentially I'm making like a rhubarb simple syrup of sorts. You let it gently simmer for about 8 or 10 minutes just so the sugar dissolves, and it's essentially steeping in the liquid. So you take it off the heat and let it sit for a while. You can strain it, and then you end up with this beautiful, you can see like nice rose-colored kind of liquid. And I added some lemon juice to it as well as some apples as well.
So great. Before we let you go,
Yes.
you've also brought a shareable snack that showcases vegetables in season. So talk about this.
This is a great way to use up leftover root vegetables in the fridge. So let's say you had like dinner last night and you have like half a squash and 2 carrots and maybe some zucchini, onions, whatever. So I've roasted a whole bunch of vegetables and I blended it up with cottage cheese to make a cream cheese-esque kind of dip.
It's so good. The prompter says I'm supposed to say like, tell us how you made it as I take a bite, but I've already swallowed. So tell us how you made it as I have a second bite.
So again, use whatever root vegetables you want, and I just really roast them till they're super, super tender and caramelized. And from there, you can blitz them up in a food processor or blender. Vitamix works great for this, obviously.
Yep.
And cottage cheese, once it's pureed really nicely, it has a very velvety texture, which is again similar to cream cheese, but a bit better for you, I would say.
Okay, so you say that you've used the beet leaves, I understand, for this. So is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So beets, obviously, an ever common ingredient across Canada. The beet greens, you can just like boil them or saute them and then strain the liquid out of them. I do a fine chop and I stir it in so you get those beautiful like flecks of green color in there and a bit of texture as well.
Okay, now is there a particular reason why you use cottage cheese in this?
I mean, unlike myself on TikTok, I feel like cottage cheese is still the moment. So I feel like it's also a protein-rich ingredient. It's a blank canvas ingredient, so you can use it. That's why you see it on things like TikTok. People use it in many ways, and this is just one great way to use it.
Dan, this has been so delicious. Thank
you.
so much for
Thank
walking
you.
us through our first. I feel like it was
I know,
our
our
first
first harvest.
Right?
Our
Harvest
harvest
dinner. We did it. Okay, and after the break, a look at the gap between the need and care for dementia patients in Canada and what can be done about it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Good job.
Did you know that dementia is one of the top 10 causes of death in Canada and one of the fastest growing health crises facing the country?
On average, 350 Canadians are diagnosed with dementia every single day. And that number could actually grow. The big question is, are we prepared? Is Canada prepared? Joining us now to discuss the national call for action for improved dementia care here in Canada is Saskia Sivananthan, founder and CEO of the Brainwell Institute. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Saskia, for those who are not familiar, can you break down what dementia is and how it impacts patients?
Yeah, so dementia is actually a condition. It's not a disease, and it's an umbrella term. So it's kind of like saying cancer. There are over 100 different types of diseases, and what ties all of them together under that umbrella is progressive memory loss. So Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia. About 60% of the cases are related to that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about the initial step in dementia care, and that is actually receiving a diagnosis of dementia. And research is showing that patients in Canada, they can wait up to 2 years to receive a proper diagnosis. Why is it that long?
And you know, that's the average. So it can actually be longer. So if you have young onset dementia, the average is 4 years. It really depends on where you are and what kind of access you have. And I think there's a couple of different things, but the biggest piece around dementia and why people don't get the diagnosis is fear. It's stigma, right? It's a mental health condition, and people are afraid to get diagnosed because they don't know what will come next. They feel like there's not a lot of hope, that there's no therapies to support them, and physicians feel the same too. So there are a certain number of doctors who won't provide the diagnosis, even if they know their patients might have early symptoms of dementia, because they don't want to label them, and they feel they can't give them much to support them, even though we know now there are things like rehabilitation therapy, lifestyle changes, and other therapies coming to the market.
Okay, so you mentioned that research around rehabilitation is growing for patients with dementia. So can you share with us what researchers are saying are some of the most effective ways to support them?
I think like rehabilitation therapy is probably one of the most underrated forms of therapy, and it's not offered to people living with dementia, but we offer it to other kinds of diseases like stroke and cancer, which are larger conditions that have similar kind of disabilities. And so the frame of reference we have to think about is dementia is a disability. We tend to think end stage, right? We go straight to, that's it, I'm gonna forget everything, people are gonna tell me I can't do things anymore, and we start worrying. But on average, people live 8 years with dementia. So what rehabilitation therapy is, the goal is to help the person to live their life as best as they can, and for whatever their life goals are, functional goals. So I'll give you an example. I'm a pianist as well, and I love to travel. And if I develop dementia, I would still want those to be important goals for myself, right? And so rehabilitation therapy includes occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, cognitive therapy. If I started accessing those early, I'd be working on my finger strength, my arm strength, my muscle strength, my communication skills, so that I can still play the piano. And I might not be able to remember how to play the same way as I did before, but through cognitive therapy, there could be other ways to do that.
Okay, interesting. So your research says that Canada is innovating, but we're not actually integrating, and our solutions, you say they're stuck at a local level. Break this down for us. So what is happening? How are we innovating? And why is it not funneling through?
Yeah, so we released a report called Mind the Gap, kind of a play on the subway, right? Because there's a gap between these really good programs that have been funded through the National Dementia Strategy, these pilots, and they are not being integrated and accessible to everyday people. So the analogy is a house, right? So these programs are, we've created a side table, we have a blanket, we have a bed frame, but we don't have a home where all of those things can be and where people can access it. And that's where we're getting stuck. We need to integrate in our different health systems at the provincial level so that people can access those.
So you mentioned that there's been over 70 programs funded under our National Dementia Strategy. Give us an example of what these programs provide.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them go back to rehabilitation, lifestyle changes that can really help people live well with dementia longer. An example is the GERAS program, which combines dancing and cognitive and physical therapy, right? You'd want to be able to access that if you were diagnosed so that you can maintain your physical function for longer. That's an example.
Okay, so what are some of the countries that we can look at who maybe are doing this better than we are and maybe borrow those ideas into our national plan?
Yeah. So the report compared to 12 countries, and spoiler alert, Canada ranks 7th out of the 12, so we're not doing that great. And what we realized is the countries that do things well get really clear. So Denmark is an example. They were very specific about their goals for their country. One of the goals they set is that 80% of people living in Denmark who develop dementia, get a diagnosis, and they get it by 2025. So why is this important? Well, first it means you're getting a very clear diagnosis. So in Canada, we're estimating only about 50% of people actually get their diagnosis. And then if they even get the diagnosis, they're told they have dementia, which is like just saying you have cancer. You're not told what kind of dementia, what can you do about it, how long, what are the treatment options. So Denmark got really specific that way. Go ahead. Well, one more quick example is Germany. And what they did is they were very clear about roles and responsibilities. So they really made the whole country work as a team. They had like the Alzheimer's societies participate in the strategy, and they had specific roles. They got the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health to work together so that everyone kind of knew what they were supposed to do, when and how, and made it part of a collaborative effort. Whereas, unfortunately, with our strategy, we're not really clear on who's doing what anymore.
I got to quickly sneak this in, but we know that there is a healthcare crisis in this country. It was exacerbated during the pandemic. It feels like it's not getting much better. We have a rapidly aging population in this country. So where does the dementia care, or maybe lack thereof, where does that map onto our current healthcare crisis? Like, are a lot of people going to fall through the cracks? And what's that going to result in?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is being driven by older adults and people living with dementia. Like right now, if you look at the hospital wait times, 50% of alternate level care hospital beds are people living with dementia who are in those beds waiting to get access either to long-term care or programs and supports. And that's driving it because that's urgent care. That's not where people should be. People living with dementia should be getting care in the community, right? And when you look at it across all 13 of our provinces and territories, we don't have dementia care pathways. We don't have any centralized way to access things, but we do for stroke and cancer.
Okay, we have about a minute left. So I understand that you have a friend, Phyllis, who was diagnosed with early onset dementia at the age of 48. And she told you that people living with dementia really need a little bit of extra love. Can you expand on that for us?
Yeah, I love that acronym. And I think Phyllis is probably the embodiment of love. So what love stands for is listening, understanding, validating, and empowering. And her point is that when you get a diagnosis of dementia, it feels like your world is turned around and people start telling you, you cannot do these things, you can't make decisions, and family members start taking over. It's well-intentioned, but actually not empowering the person. It's not supporting them to live as well as they can with dementia. So we all need a bit of love in how we work with each other.
Yeah, an implementation of these programs. Sure. Absolutely. Saskia, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, wow. We are learning so much on today's show. This is fabulous. Why don't we take a break? We'll be back after this. All right, I think we all could use this segment tomorrow. Tomorrow on the show, forget bed rotting. We get tips on how to truly get good rest. What's that?
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
So important,
so
though.
important.
Yes.
Oh, my God. You're talking to menopausal women. We don't understand. We don't know what rest or sleep is anymore. Anyway, moving on. For your fall beauty trend report, that's happening tomorrow. Makeup and skincare essentials for autumn as well, which is going to be a ton of fun. I just want to say a big thank you to Julie Black again. You know, we forget on the show because we share a lot of personal stuff every day, and it's not easy. It's not easy to do, and Julie was very brave in sharing her story, and I just want to say a big thank you. I think she helped a lot of people today.
Absolutely.
Right?
So important.
Yeah. Audience, you were awesome. You were on the roller coaster ride of a lifetime with us today, and we really appreciate you so, so much. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye-bye.